Hey, Sunkist. How's it going? It's good to see you, Sunkist. All right, it is, October 17th, 2025. We're continuing to document the demise of the Democrat Party. And my goodness, they do seem to be imploding. There is all kinds of victories all over the place, man. All over the place, man. What's up? We need peace. How are you? So I guess I'm doing all right, but it's just hard to keep your head screwed on secure. There is so much winning, and it's just unbelievable what's happening here with the Trump and his cabinet just hitting home run after home run. And the mainstream media just not reporting on any of it and not even letting the rest of America know that we're winning this battle to take our country back. And it's just happening at such a fast clip. And this last week is a prime example of that. We're going to get into that here in a minute. But just trying to sum up what's going on, and we're seeing the federal government is very effectively getting rid of the entrenched communists that are in our government right now. And I think what's going to happen is the feds are going to do a fine job at this. So far, Trump and his cabinet are getting rid of lots of feds. We got the, what do they call it? The RIFs, reduction in force layoffs happening right now. And because the government is shut down, because the Democrats want to give the illegal aliens $1 trillion worth of health care, and they even got like guys like Senator Fetterman telling them, whoa, you guys, this isn't the right way to go. And it's just wild watching the Democrats just fumble after fumble after fumble. And the minions out in the streets here, But once the feds clear it out, and it's going to take a while to get that done, I do believe that they're going to get entrenched in our state governments, in our local governments. And that was full on display here my last live stream that I did, where the communists were on the bridge promoting the next No Kings rally and calling the shutdown the Smucker shutdown. Like, nobody knows who Smucker is, man. But Smucker is my local House of Representatives guy, and they're blaming the shutdown on little old Lloyd Schmucker, which is wild, man. Right on. Okay, and then we got whatever that was in the chat. Whatever, dude. All right, go out and get your boosters, man. It's a free country. You are totally free to be a nincompoop in America. Totally free. We got no laws against that. You got freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, and I'm not gonna tell you can't speak. I'm not gonna spray paint over your billboard. I'm not gonna yell a bullhorn while you're spouting your foolishness to other people. I'm not gonna try to yell louder than you're talking so that nobody could hear it. You're totally allowed to be an idiot in America. That's the beauty of this country. That's why millions and millions of illegals came into this country, because they would rather live here than wherever it is that they're living, because they know this is the bastion of freedom in the world right now. And we are here to establish that continuously. For as long as we're here, it's going to be a free country. And we have to learn, freedom is scary. Freedom is dangerous. It's potentially not nice, but where everybody has the same rights as everybody else, and everybody has a right to an opinion and to voice that opinion, is what we got to figure out, man. Whatever their Naperville patriot, whatever you are, just, whatever. No, Trump isn't a nincompoop, and I don't think he really got a booster, and I don't care what you think about it either. So there you go. Hey, it's Stua. How you doing, Ann? Carol Burton, good to see you. We need peace. Carrie, how's it going, Carrie? Carrie's all over the place out in the chats out there in zombie world. That's great, man. So the reduction in force have layoffs have begun, and then once again we have judicial sabotage happening with that decision to lay people off. All right, so anytime, any single time Trump wants to do something, he's going to get blowback from these activist judges. And, you know, our Congress is doing nothing about it. And what I'd like to just point out, man, is let's review the last 9 months since Trump won the election, since we gave Trump the election, right? Who is accomplishing things in this government right now? It's Trump and his cabinet, and that's it. That's all that's all he's doing. It's not Congress. Congress is totally asleep at the wheel. They have passed, what has Congress done? Like the big beautiful bill. And how long did they fight around about that? And they finally got that passed. And then the agreements between the uniparty people has even broken down now with this continuing resolution denial, because that's how they operated before. Anytime they couldn't pass a budget, which is their sole job, basically, is to make sure the government is funded, and they haven't been able to do that with any type of consistency. That's Congress. That is Congress all the way. It has nothing to do with the president, and they can't even do that. So Congress, our Republican-controlled House of Representatives, Republican-controlled Senate, has done one thing, and that is passed the big, beautiful bill. And here we are with the government shut down. And by the way, look up at your skies. There are no chemtrails while the government shutdown is happening. The chemtrail people, whoever they are, whyever they're doing it, have not been out since the government shutdown. I have not seen one chemtrail here yet. I don't know if any of you, Belinda, you said you saw a chemtrail the other day. Report to us if you're seeing any more of those chemtrails there, Belinda. But I have not seen one. I wake up and a whole nother day goes by, there's not another chemtrail, and I just can't believe it. I have never seen clear skies like this ever. You know, well, since I was a child, when I realized that skyscrapers were not I always thought the chemtrails were skyscrapers, and they used to be like that long. You know, a plane would go over the sky, there'd be a vapor trail about an inch long coming off the back of it. All right, Belinda says they sprayed in North Carolina today, so that could be state-funded chemtrails. I don't know how the chemtrail system operates, but yeah, right. Sunkissed Florida hasn't been hit with a hurricane. This is the slowest hurricane season I think I heard somebody mention in quite some time. Sorry, Deb. Bye. I can't believe I can't remember that anymore either, man. Well, Prism has changed there, Deb. Bye. So it's kind of hard. Once I start running the memes, I got to take the watermark out of there. But I don't know. All I can tell you is what I see, what I hear, what's happening around me. And there has not been a chemtrail here in 2 weeks, which is outstanding. And I'm pretty stoked about that. So we got this guy named Russ Vought, and he is the head of the OMB or something like that. He's the head of the entity that employs federal workers, and apparently there have been thousands and thousands of people that have been laid off. All of that's in limbo now because of an activist judge somewhere decided to, stick their head out and say Trump can't do that, or we can't lay people off for some reason. But I think every time that happens, it just goes up the chain of command until it gets to the Supreme Court, and that'll get shot down too, because that's an overstepping of the bounds. I might add That is a problem that Congress could easily take care of, man. They could easily impeach these judges. That's who's in charge of it. But they don't. They haven't. They haven't for dozens and dozens of years prior to this. They don't do it because they know it would solve the problem. Congress wants to make the problem seem. So I don't know how we're going to get out of this. We do have our people at the top. The cabinet is rocking it to the point where their world peace is about to break out. And without the help of our Congress. The Congress is an embarrassing stain on this country right now. And we got to seriously consider who we're voting for. We can't get rid of them until the elections, right? So there's an election coming up on November 4th. I hope you guys are all, got all your registration all in line. You're all ready to vote. Maybe you voted already by mail, which is fine. You vote by mail if that's the way you got to do it. While it's an option. So, but I don't know how the problem with Congress is going to get solved, man. A while back, there was a case before the Supreme Court called Brunson versus Adams. And that was the fact that the Congress voted to certify a fraudulent election in 2020. And Trump is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the fact that that election was rigged. And we know that election was rigged. And that's why everybody went to January 6th, to the Capitol on January 6th, 2021. The entrenched communists in the government came after a couple of thousand people that attended that rally and tried to squelch that movement. And the Congress, the crooked Congress, went ahead and certified that election. And then they lied to the American people and told them that a cop was killed on that day. They actually had a funeral for that cop, Brian Sicknick. And they let everybody believe that Brian Sicknick was killed by protesters at the Capitol, MAGA protesters. And they let the whole country believe that. In fact, I have never seen a retraction from our government or whoever put on that hoax funeral at the Capitol for Brian Sicknick. I have never seen a retraction for that. Why is that? Usually, if you're a news station and you get caught propagating a false story that is proven to be true, they force you to publish some type of a retraction for that. But I don't know. I have never seen a retraction for the phony funeral that Brian Sicknick got in the Washington, D.C. area there, man. And every one of our, not everyone, but a lot of the Congress people voted to certify that rigged election. And it was rigged. I don't know how many different ways they rigged it. They rigged it a multitude of ways. It wasn't just mail-in balloting. They released the pandemic on us in order to get their mail-in balloting certified. Supreme Courts, state Supreme Courts changed election laws in states, which is not their job. Their job is to enforce and not establish law, but to enforce the law. But our Pennsylvania Supreme Court actually changed our election laws. I don't know who decided that. And then they investigated themselves and found nothing wrong, no wrongdoing in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. So right now, especially in Pennsylvania, if you're voting, when you vote on November 4th, vote no to retain the Supreme Court justices in Pennsylvania, because those are the clowns that changed the law, that investigated themselves and found nothing wrong. Vote them out. They have a 10-year term, and if we don't reinstate them every 10 years, they're out of there. They have to have a new election. All right, and now we need peace. Right on it. That is the thing that is in the news right now. The gerrymandering, the racial gerrymandering that is going on in this country. That is another issue that Congress, Republicans, have allowed to happen for decades before this. The Republicans in Congress have allowed this racial gerrymandering to happen throughout the whole country. And you can tell that something's up when you look at a map and you see that these voting districts, these areas, these precincts, or whatever you call them, are all just chaotic on a map, that's because they decided that each block, there wasn't any blocks that had a majority of black people in it. So they said, well, we got to have areas that get a representation that's majority black people. That's racism. That is racism 101, right to its core, man. So the Supreme Court has recently just reversed the racial gerrymandering that's been going on, and the Democrats are going to lose about 20 seats in the House of Representatives over this. I think it's outstanding. I think it's another revelation to the people as to how ineffective our Congress has been for decades, to allow that type of unconstitutional racial gerrymandering to be going on for years and years and years. It didn't happen overnight. It's been happening for years, to the point where there's 20 areas in this country that were established on nothing but racial grounds. And that is against the Constitution. That is it. Once again, Congress, Republicans allowed this to continue, didn't do a thing about it, didn't do a thing about the rigged election, didn't do a thing about all the things that we talk about here. And I don't know how we're going to get out of this. Congress needs to be reestablished, and basically draining the swamp means pulling the plug on Congress, man. We're going to have to vote these people out, but this is going to take some intellectual activity. We're going to have to really think about who we're reelecting. And we may have to send messages to our GOP in our different areas about Lloyd Schmucker. Lloyd Schmucker's got to go. He is not representing we the people here. In fact, Lloyd Schmucker's biggest battle right now is to defend himself against the retard local newspaper here. That's his biggest issue. He didn't do a damn thing about the J6ers in prison, even though I called him dozens of times about the J6ers and the corrupt court system that was incriminating all of them in D.C., to which he could have done something. He could have wrote a strongly worded letter, but he didn't. In fact, he lectured me about everybody that breaks the law needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Well, now he's got a little battle with the local going out of business newspaper, and that's his crusade now. He has forgotten about we the people. Lloyd Schmucker's got to go. Unfortunately, this area is not having a GOP primary for his position. So us Republicans, we're stuck with him because of the lameness of the GOP right here in my area. I don't know when they're going to get the memo that MAGA is the GOP now. They still think they're this uniparty club, the GOP, but it's MAGA now. And the GOP leadership hasn't gotten the memo here. And unfortunately, I'm not voting for Lloyd Schmucker this time. I don't know if I'm going to not vote for the guy or if I'm going to literally go out and vote for the Democrat to make a message. I don't know what to do here. But hopefully something else is going to happen between now and then to reprimand Congress, nullify them. I don't know how it happens. Things happen in government. I don't know how everything works. It does seem like there's got to be some type of a possibility that we can solve this problem without having to go to the extremes of literally voting or not voting, voting for a Democrat or not voting. I just can't. There's no way I could vote for a Democrat. I'd have to vote for like Mickey Mouse or something. Or there's no way I could vote for a Democrat. Not these Satanists, these people. These people they're demons, man. They are demons. Let's see. I had a good thumbnail on that. Oh, here we go. Oh, well, all right. I can't work the memes. I don't know what they're doing to me here. Prism has changed everything, and I don't even know how to operate it anymore. I still know how to get a live stream going, though. I got that going for me. Never mind. I can't even get I can't get my memes up. I don't know what happened, man. There you go. We need peace. Vote for Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Okay, no, that's not geese there, Carrie. I needed to show you guys something here in my local area. I've driven past this billboard a number of times now, and I never read it, but right here, my own town, man. This is a billboard in my sleepy little town that elects Lloyd Smucker to represent them. Without due process, it's just kidnapping. ICE out of Lancaster. And it's paid for by a group called Lancaster Stands Up. And they are a group that put on the last No Kings rally. So this is a highly funded group, and they are going to be sponsoring the No Kings rally tomorrow here. Right on, Linda. Definitely let the Holy Spirit guide you. Prayer does work. Prayer does work. This billboard was paid for by Allison Moon. So I don't know if you guys, you don't live here, but a couple phone calls might be in order. We used to be really good at making phone calls. And there is a lot of things we could be making phone calls about. I'll bring one up here shortly. But Allison Moon, and Lancaster Stands Up. Notice that is a 610 area code on that phone number. That's Philadelphia, folks. That's not even our area. So here we got Philly Democrats infiltrating the local elections here in Lancaster. And yeah, this is sad. This is sad. All right, here we go. All right, that might have been why I couldn't get that meme up there. That one was stuck in there. No, I can't do it. All right, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so here is the Lancaster Stands Up brochure that I got. Lancaster is for all of us, man. From raising our voices in the public square to going door to door to meet our neighbors, we are taking back our democracy. All right, there you go. They're one of them democracy people. We're a grassroots, people-powered effort to take back our democracy. That's a lie, because these people are obviously funded by somebody. They have a lot of funding. They're putting up billboards here. They're making pamphlets. They're organizing rallies in other people's areas and stuff. They ask for a membership fee. They have gotten this one guy elected here in the city, and what they did is they took over some city council positions, and from there they're growing, you know. And those people in the city council have been giving benefits to people that help the homeless people here, and the illegals kind of got mixed up in there with our homeless people. They don't bring up the point that there's a difference between a homeless person in Lancaster, Pennsylvania versus an illegal immigrant that's in local Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So they cloud the issues all the time, man. All right, Sunkiss got a link for you there about Pence. Yeah, Linda Firestarter. Yeah, that is so true. I prayed before I started this stream up. There is no sense in doing anything unless you pray about it first, right? Otherwise, we're just walking on our own power, and I'm nothing. I am nothing. I've already proven to myself my inadequacy for everything. So everything begins with prayer, and then afterwards, it's a thank you, Lord prayer. You know. Right on. And pray for all of us patriots, man. Everybody that you've ever met in these live streams, putting our neck out on the lines here with our comments. I mean, it's obvious that if we ever lose power, that this government is going to come after us gangbusters, man. All right, Belinda Eckhart is putting in some good information for people in need there, up in the mountains. Yeah, still 2 years later, there's still people that need help over there from the hurricanes. I'm just floored by the ineffectiveness of our Congress. It is so maddening. And then to think that we got our power back by putting President Trump in the office, and then him establishing his Congress. Look how long it took the Republican-led Congress to even certify his nominations, man. I don't even know that they're done yet. I still think there's nominations that need to be confirmed by Congress for President Trump, and they won't even do that for him. And that's our own party. And that's the ingratitude of the GOP towards President Trump. President Trump has delivered the presidency to the Republicans now twice, and they still work against him. And I believe, I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on with John Fetterman, Senator John Fetterman lately. I believe that Fetterman may be the first MAGA Democrat, because he is standing up against his party, the Democrat Party, and just telling them where they went wrong with the attempted election of Kamala Harris. We got Kamala Harris out trying to sell books, just looking like a bigger idiot every time she opens her mouth at these book signing events. It's pretty unbelievable, man. Pretty unbelievable. But they're going to come after Fetterman. So I'm here to argue that there are Democrats out there that can be MAGA, okay? MAGA is Make America Great Again. MAGA does not mean Republican. And I think that there is what we can see right now with all the dissension amongst the right-wing media with the Charlie Kirk assassination and all these other things that right-wing media is tearing itself apart over, which is not right. It's not good. And we can see this dissension between the GOP and MAGA. And I think we got to decide what side we stand on. Are we MAGA or are we Republicans? So anyways, in this last week, I mean, it all started out with Trump giving a speech with the drug companies. And Trump established the favored nation drug prices. That was like a week ago. AstraZeneca, a pharmaceutical company from the UK, committed to spending $50 billion in America over 5 years. RFK got up and spoke at that thing. Governor Youngkin got up and spoke. And in fact, Governor Youngkin of Virginia actually got $5 billion worth of investments for Virginia from AstraZeneca just by being at the meeting. So where was my governor? Where was Josh Shapiro while these meetings with AstraZeneca were going on? He was trying to turn the fire at the governor's mansion set by some homeless guy into a racial thing, into something that happened to him because he was Jewish. Race baiting again and again and again. That's all they got. They got to try to divide us up every single chance they get. So Pennsylvania, we lost out. We lost out because we got a loser governor named Josh Shapiro who wasn't in on the money talks with the pharmaceutical companies here. Could have been in on that, but I guess you weren't, you know. You're too busy race baiting us, looking for pity. Okay, so Trump does the favored nation drug prices meeting. Then then he goes to the Middle East, declares this peace deal between Israel and Hamas, tells Hamas they got to stop killing people, they got to get the prisoners. There was a huge prisoner exchange, totally lopsided, but it happened. All right, we got the prisoners out of the tunnels, the dungeons that they were keeping them in, but Israel had to give over like 2,000 Palestinians that they had busted in Israel. And then what does Hamas do? They start executing their own people. All right, you know, there was shooting squads happening in Gaza Strip where Hamas was actually executing their own people for whatever crimes. They said they were in gangs, whatever. So that is going to need to be attended to here shortly. Trump says America is not going into Gaza to fix this. All the other countries that agreed to this are going to go in and fix this. And if it ain't Israel, it's going to be one of the other countries that also signed on to this deal to remove Hamas from the face of the earth. We're not removing the Palestinians from the face of the earth. We're removing their violent government. So I guess they had rigged elections in Gaza too, huh? That's another thing. Congress has allowed these rigged elections to just continue, man. We need secure, honest elections here in America. Otherwise, I can't put my faith in the elected officials, man. And it becomes very obvious that these officials aren't representing us. They are representing something else. And what that other something else is, I'm not sure. Is it Satan? Is it a Democrat Party? Are they greedy? Are they perverts and just want to get away with their sick crimes? Whatever it is, they're not representing us. So that's why we need to have free and fair elections, man. Honest, secure elections. So then Trump comes home, gives another speech, and then has a ballroom party. I mean, I don't know how Trump just keeps going and going and going, man. It's amazing, man. Trump in that second speech mentioned that there is now we're closing in on $18 trillion worth of foreign investment commitments in America right now under his leadership in 8 months. FJB, over the whole course of his 4 years of his imposter presidency, didn't even generate $1 trillion worth of foreign investments into this country. So right there, that's 3 grand slams just getting $18 trillion of commitments out of these countries. Trump mentions the Democrats obstructed every step of the way of these peace talks, and these talks with the drug companies. The Democrats obstructed. The Middle East we got hot spots. They're going to be very easy to put out, he says. Trump is fighting against these Venezuelan drug cartels. They're manufacturing and moving drugs all over the place. He just blew up another boat out in the ocean. It was like one of those submarine boats that they blasted it out of the water. And this time I think they got some survivors. So that ought to be pretty cool to find out what type of information we're going to get out of the guys that just survived that attack on a drug boat from Venezuela. We also had Bondi made some arrests over a letter that was written to Benny Johnson, the right-wing media guy, who I see all kinds of people are just bad-mouthing. I mean, there's no shortage of people who just want to bash Cash Patel, Bondi, Benny Johnson, what's the chick, Candace Owens. I just don't get it, people. If you're MAGA and you're attacking Candace Owens before you're attacking like a Democrat, you're fighting amongst ourselves. That is totally wasted effort. If you don't like what Candace is saying, switch the channel. Just go to something else. But do not attack somebody that is on the same team as you. Candace is on our team. Candace tried to, done a lot of work to help get Trump elected. Benny Johnson did a huge amount of work and sacrifice to get Trump elected. And if you're bashing these people, I don't know how I could be on the same team with you. Right, Jay Boo. Panikins. Trump came up with the word. Trump was right again. These are called panikins. And those are questionable people. They claim to be Republicans, and hopefully they voted for Trump, but they are not very good. They're not very healthy. It's like having poison in your system or something. They're poison. But as long as they're voting for Trump, I'm not going to, attack them, right? But they are, actively attacking other people that are on the same team, and it just doesn't get any better. I saw this very well at the People's Convoy, man. I don't know, I keep bringing this up. But while we were camped out in Hagerstown for a month, this happened every 3 days, where some tiff would start up, some rumor would start flying, and before the rumor could be diffused, usually it was just a fake rumor. It was just bad information that caused these rumors to fly around. But before it could be diffused, it already causes damage. It causes a great amount of damage, man. Hey, Jay Jones, good to see you, man. Texas Jay Jones, not that Maryland Jay Jones. The Maryland Jay Jones story. I mean, my God, the Maryland governor won't even... what's the nutshell story on this? The guy running for the Attorney General of Maryland came out and said he would like to see his opponent killed, his wife killed, and his fascist children killed. In a social media post. Okay, free to be an idiot in America, right? You're allowed to say that stuff, I guess, even though that sounds like a very menacing threat. And then in a debate, the Maryland Democrat candidate for governor went directly presented the facts that her attorney general said these things, would not condone those statements. She stood there silently, stoically silent, when confronted with the violence that was put out by her potential attorney general's statements on social media. There you have it. I mean, these people are crazy, man. Oh, and then Trump, after he did the AstraZeneca thing, the Middle East peace talks, then he did the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Stayed up all day long, presented Erica Trump with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, man. I mean, what an outstanding thing. And then what do I see? A bunch of people get up and say how Erica Trump wasn't crying hard enough, or she was crying too much, or, just attacking this poor widow over how she looked on the thing, But anyways, Trump gave her Charlie's Presidential Medal of Freedom. I thought a fitting reward for what Charlie has been through, man. All right, and then Trump did the ballroom, where he's promoting the ballroom. He wants to build an Arc of Triumph right there on the Potomac River as you come across the bridge from Arlington Cemetery, right behind the Lincoln Memorial. He wants an Arc of Triumph like they got in Paris to be established there. So Trump is definitely putting his footprint, putting his stamp on the White House with those 2 flagpoles and this humongous ballroom that he's going to build there. An Arc of Triumph, cleaning up the streets of D.C. He erased that Black Lives Matter Boulevard thing. mean, get that out of there. That has nothing to do with government. That is racist things that they've been doing with our tax money. And one thing I just noticed when he was in the Middle East, when Trump was in the Middle East talking with these world leaders, the room was full of world leaders. And I don't care what they think personally, but in public, every single one of them leaders got up and said glowing words about Trump. How this could not have happened without Trump. Trump is the man of the moment that was put here for this moment. And numerous world leaders came around and said that. And I just thought about how amazing it is that when Trump sits down with his cabinet here in America, it's a tight group, man. All right, they are all dedicated to performing well for the team. And when he was sitting in that room with all those world leaders around him, it's very apparent that he is the man for this moment. And praise God that things went well enough to get him into office. Because the Democrats, they tried to arrest this guy. They tried to put him in jail for, 900 years. All of these cases have been overturned. There's still the one that's still hanging, but that's obviously, the E. Jean Carroll thing is obviously some type of a smear thing. And then they tried to kill him. They tried to have him shot. They called CNN up and said, hey, come film this rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, because even though CNN, you haven't been here at all the other rallies, this one's going to be a good one. You should be here and live stream it. And they attempted to kill him there. They ended up killing an innocent person up in the stands and shooting 2 other people. And we're still not going to find out what happened there. And we're relying on the FBI to find out what happened there. All right, so here's the thing about the FBI. A week ago, information was just let loose that there was 274 undercover FBI agents on the Capitol on J6. 274. And prior to that moment, we had shadow estimates from Christopher Wray that there was maybe 20. Came out, fact, there was 274 of them. Then later on in the same week, it comes out, fact, we got photo evidence that there was undercover Antifa people in the crowd on January 6, 2021 at the Capitol. We knew about like Jaden Axe, the guy that filmed what happened in the hallway there with Ashley Babbitt, a notorious Antifa member wearing a Trump hat there, filming it. And we just found out that there was several other proven Antifa members there dressed up undercover, just like the FBI. So now we're reliant on this same FBI to investigate, who shot at Trump a couple times. So I don't know how we're supposed to trust this FBI again, but I'm leaving it to Cash. Cash just came on TV and said, grade us by what you have seen us do in the last 9 months. Cash spoke it. He said, I understand that people are wondering what's taken so long with these arrests, with the prosecutions. But what has happened with the FBI is that they have located like 3,000 missing kids. They have busted lots and lots of human traffickers. They have also arrested a lot of the people bringing fentanyl into this country. And they are assisting ICE with the removal of the illegals. So what FBI is doing right now, the fruits of their labor for the last 9 months has been very good, very effective. And in the meantime, they are getting rid of the entrenched ones that are dragging their feet, that were trying to cover up crime. So we're in this transition period with the FBI. And I have totally lost faith in the FBI, but Kash Patel is reinvigorating my faith in the FBI to uphold law and order. Same thing with Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice and Judge Janine and Harmeet Dillon. I mean, we got some all-stars there. Ed Martin in the Department of Justice, earning our trust back because our trust was broken. We watched the DOJ prosecute President Trump. on 4 outrageous cases before he re-won the election. And I think I gotta believe in our system here, in the foundation. The Constitution is the foundation, and we need an FBI. We need a Department of Justice. We need it. We need it. We can't go without it. All right, and then the Antifa has been designated as a foreign terrorist, or a terrorist group, and now they're making links to make it an international terrorist group, which is a big designation there. As soon as they're determined to be international, that means our military can go after them. So right now, we got the first prosecutions that have happened under the new terrorism designation of Antifa for the shooting that took place outside of an ICE facility in Texas. There have been 20 arrests made now using the new terrorist designation for Antifa, and I'm expecting to see, it's going to take months for these court cases to happen, but I'm expecting to see multi-year sentences handed down for this. More appropriate for attempted murder, rather than loitering and trespassing charges like they gave multi-year sentences to our J6ers over being at the Capitol on that January 6th morning, that January 6th day. And we got the FBI working together with the U.S. Treasury now to hunt down Antifa, because we know these people are funded with big money, all right? Follow the money, follow the money. How many times have you heard that statement? So now we got the U.S. Treasury, which has access to all the financial transactions. It shouldn't be very hard to find these people, right? In the meantime, we just got to deal with these continuous judicial sabotage and watch Congress do absolutely nothing about it. Nothing about it. We got a handful in there. I mean, we do got some all-star candidates or patriots in Congress right now, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. People out there bashing Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's the only one. 2 years ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene put forth the motion to declare Antifa a terrorist organization. 2 years ago, she was saying that. And finally, it's been done. And we got people bashing her, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the cutting edge of pretty much everything MAGA is about to do. And I'm not going to listen to anybody bash Marjorie Taylor Greene. And we got others. There's 25 really good people in Congress right now. So, with this SCOTUS decision to reverse the race-based gerrymandering, I mean, that's a big plus, but don't think that's just going to win all these elections, people. We got to be registered to vote. We have to go vote and be involved with this. The other thing that I was thinking that if you feel like making some phone calls is make a phone call to your representative. And I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to call my guy Lloyd up, Lloyd Smucker, and say, Lloyd, I called you 36 times about the J6 thing, and now that the information has come out that there was 274 undercover FBI agents at J6, are you going to do anything about this? And there is an investigation going on about that right now. There's an investigation going on about the J6 committee that farcical show they put on TV for everybody where it was totally rigged. They were reading scripts. Call your Republican representatives and ask them to pay attention to these prosecutions that are going on. Ask them if it changed their mind about the things that happened on J6, about the 274 undercover FBI agents. And maybe ask them if they would be willing to offer to say something about the fact that the Brian Sicknick funeral was a farce, that no police officers were killed on January 6th at the Capitol, because I have never seen a retraction from that statement. America is left to believe that to this day. And I just found out last week that, I met 2 people that still think a cop died on J6. So if you want a short and sweet phone call to your representative, will you put out a retraction on the fact that no cops were killed on January 6th at the Capitol? These people, they're not brain readers, they're not mind readers. They don't know what we're thinking. We have to call them, man. We have to voice our opinions to them. We have to vote for them and then keep them informed on what's going on. Sign up for their little email letters that they put out, or find out what social media they use to communicate with their constituents, man. Trump said the other day the left has the devil's ideology, and I couldn't agree more. These people have fought for illegal aliens now and with billions and billions of our money that we are mandated to give them through taxes. They take that money and then use it against us, and that's abhorrent. Thomas Jefferson would be rolling over in his grave to know that these things were happening right now. Trump just needs to. The other day I saw Newt Gingrich on some show somewhere, and Newt was talking about the days of Reagan, and Newt actually says that Trump is a better president than Reagan, and Reagan is the president that Newt Gingrich worked for, right? But when Reagan won 49 of the 50 states to become president, we had Republican House, Republican Senate, and a Republican president. And they facilitated like a gung-ho, move forward, go, 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 mandate from the people to legislate, to put in laws based on the principles that we hold dear, which is freedom and stuff. But right now, Trump can't even do it without fighting against his own party. So, I mean, it's amazing that he's getting all this done without the help of these Republicans, these lamestream Republicans. So things are happening, Patriots. We're gonna. With all these protests that are going on at the ICE facilities, they are really very weak, very meaningless, very pointless, very stupid looking. That these people are starting to like turn it into like costume parties at the ICE facilities, and the local police departments are declaring that they are not going to work with the ICE agents. And like Tom Homan says, all these arrests could be happening inside the jails, because these illegal immigrants get arrested for things. They get run through the jail system there, and then they get released right back out onto the streets. But ICE could be just pulling up at the jail, arresting these people, and pulling out without these big disturbances in the neighborhoods. But right now, what we're seeing is, as soon as these Democrat neighborhoods see a couple ICE agents pull up, they swarm them, man. Apparently, these people are just peeping out the windows of their house, just waiting for an ICE event to happen so they can get out and start screaming and filming and acting like idiots, man. Oh, man, right on. Navarro's prosecutor was fired by the DOJ. So I wonder, was that a clown freaking prosecution? Wow. That's cool, Jay. That is cool. They're still entrenched in there, and it's going to take a long time to get them all out, but it's happening. And in the meantime, they're getting things prosecuted, like these human traffickers and the fentanyl people, and election frauds too. I mean, there have been quite a few arrests with fraudulent election people that's going on. Oh, hey, my memes are working now. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I don't normally promote violence, but I thought that was a funny picture. Yeah, Sunkiss, we need more ice. Can I have a little more ice, please? I don't want the half a glass of ice. I want a full glass of ice. So I might go to this No Kings protest tomorrow. I do not want to get in trouble, but I just saw that sign and I thought, man, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny to make that sign and go to the ICE protest? All right, and then we finally got some from some arrests happened, right? James Comey, he didn't get the 6 a.m. Raid, the obligatory raid, because we're better than that, I guess. It would have been nice to see that happen. And then Letitia James is getting charged. But just yesterday, John Bolton was actually arrested and presented with 18 counts of sharing secret information with people that shouldn't have been seeing that, man. Take note that John Bolton is a Republican. Take note that James Comey is a Republican. Just in case any of your libtard friends want to start shouting about that. Just let them know, hey, Trump's bipartisan. He'll go after anybody there. All right, now we just endured, what, 2 years of free Palestine protests? Well, whoa, sun-kissed. Pence is going down with him. All right. I have not heard about a Pence link with the Bolton arrest yet, but it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. And Nova's reporting 35,000 IRS fired. Oh my God, it's just too good to be true. That's outstanding, Nova. Outstanding. Oh, cool song. It's in the link. I'll get to see that later then when I play this back. Keep going. Keep going. So it's the free Palestine. No, thank you, Trump. No, way to go, Trump. No, good job, Trump. But then they're coming out this weekend. 1 weekend later, no Kings. Okay, again, rerunning their failed attempt at a meaningful rally from 4 months ago. Gary says they were still chanting Free Palestine in Chicago this morning. Okay. Somebody send them the memo. Palestine's been freed. There's no more Hamas. The Palestinians will get to watch as the entire Middle East rebuilds itself and rebuilds their devastated homeland after they trashed it for the second time. That's right, the second time. Because the first time, when Israel settled all them Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, they moved out a bunch of Israelis that had totally developed that area. Turned it into a breadbasket. There were orchards, there was water systems, there was electrical systems, there was high-rise apartment buildings. There was all kinds of stuff there. And even before the Hamas war broke out, they destroyed the whole area. They would not eat fruit off of trees that a Jew planted. They would not, it's pretty wild, man. Their racism over there is incredible. That's right, son, because that fly landed on his head. We know that's the fly of Beelzebub. I did notice that First Amendment Media, Matt, our buddy from the Convoy and the 1776 movement, he goes to Fort Wayne, Indiana to film a Free Palestine event every week that they've been having there. And they were out chanting Free Palestine after Trump freed Palestine. So these people are not the sharpest tool in the shed there. Thank God we are done with this. Look how much has changed. Yeah, it's like a Halloween costume party, right, Linda? But who in her right mind is going to go, yeah, I agree with the guy in the Barney costume. You know, let's do what the guy in the Barney outfit says. They're not even recommending anything. They're just screaming. They're just shouting and hollering. Okay, remember when the Doge guy, Big Balls, was jumped in D.C. and beat up by 10 teenagers? They've arrested, 2 or 3 of them now. But this fine social justice judge, Kendra Briggs, has allowed the 2 teens who jumped Big Balls to avoid jail and sentenced them to simple probation, stating her job is to rehabilitate, not punish. Okay, I didn't get that memo. I didn't get the memo that judges' jobs are to rehabilitate. I thought it was the prison's job to rehabilitate. And the judge's job was to punish for crimes. So I don't know what book, how Kendra Briggs here got this idea in her head that it's her job to rehabilitate people. I always thought that was the prison system's job, not the judges. So here's another area where immediately Congress, the Republicans in Congress, can write a strongly worded letter about Kendra Briggs, but they don't. They don't do it. And why is that? We got this problem here, people. There's nothing new about what's going on here. Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, they sacrificed their freedom to warn us. Snowden had to go, he's still living in Russia as a refugee there because this government still has charges ready to go against Edward Snowden if he ever steps foot in this country. Julian Assange is a free man now, but that was 10 years ago. That's right, Sonny, you can't rehabilitate stupid. Yeah, Jay, I bet Briggs is a DEI hire. But we're done with that stupidity. We are done with that stupidity. Because there's a lot of entrenched stupidity that we have to deal with still. And literally, for what, how many 20, 30 years we've been living with this racist, gerrymandering problem here in the country. And the Republicans didn't squash it. They didn't, the whole time it was happening. They've had 20 or 30 years to at least write a strongly worded letter about it. And have done nothing. That, of course, is our favorite Supreme Court Justice Ketanji. And apparently she had to be briefed by the other justices on what racism is. Because basically telling somebody that we don't need ID to vote is telling them they're too stupid to get an ID. But they aren't that stupid because they want to get other things. They want to get a license. They want to get a pack of smokes. They want to get liquor. Yeah, right, Sunkissed. It is. It makes me laugh. I laugh a lot because I don't know how else to react to it. It is staggering, the idiocy. It's like the whole world is under some spell and only a few people can see through this. All right, we just want to deport them all. Get them out of here. I do believe the total number of deportees has gone up over 2 million right now. And 1.5 million of that is self-deportation. We have offered, as a country, as a benevolent country, we have offered a great program for people to self-deport. And with $18 trillion worth of investments, I think people can see that we are going to need workers in this country. So if you are an illegal immigrant here right now, and we're finding them all. We're finding them, even though you think you've been here for 10 years, you're working as a school district superintendent, or you're working as a cop, or a truck driver. Just because you've been here for 10 years doesn't mean you're not going to get deported. Everyone who is here illegally is going to be hunted down and deported. But we need workers. So please, take the money, take the plane ride, the free plane ticket, a free $1,000, and self-deport, and then turn around and fill out the paperwork to come right back here. Because we need you. We need people. We're going to need a lot of people. All right. Well, so I guess like only half of my memes are working here. And I just thought that was a really cool picture. All right, Sunkissed is reporting Ford Motor Company is down 150,000 technicians. I just heard that the shipbuilding industry is looking for over 1,000 welders. Somebody is offering a program for electricians. New York has lost a lot of jobs. That's right, Barbara. That is right. Hello, Lee Sorensen. Good to see you, sir. I'm almost numb from winning. Oh, yeah, Texas J. Joe's. I saw that. Mitch McConnell fell down. So there's like a new job in D.C. these days, and that is to be an elderly congressional handholder. Because I noticed that Mitch has got one now, that, you know, there's always like a sturdy person next to him that he can grab onto. He didn't grab onto that guy's quick enough, though. Mitch actually went down. And then the other day, there was a great video of a gal chasing Nancy Pelosi down on the steps of the Capitol, asking her some very pointed questions, and Nancy told her to shut up. But Nancy had this guy that she was holding. So maybe there's a job, you know, you can get in D.C. as a congressional person's handholder, because a lot of them seem to need it, man. Chuck Schumer's getting there. There's, you know, even Tennis Shoe Patty from Washington State's going to need one soon here. They're all getting old. Jay Jones, New York is screwed. New York is screwed, because I just saw Silwa, the Republican candidate in the mayoral race in New York City, is not going to facilitate ICE to work with the New York PD. New York is screwed. There is the worst of the worst is going to happen in New York before this is over. Term limits would be nice, Carol, wouldn't it? I think Marjorie Taylor Greene was on that. Nobody's listening to her, though. Cleo, good to see you, Cleo. Patriot. Welcome in, Cleo. All right, so half of my memes are working, and I just put all of them in there that are working, except for this last one. But this last one, it might not be appropriate for children. So there's some language in it, but it is so funny that I'm just going to have to play it. And and Trump dropped the F-bomb just today, with Zelensky sitting right across the table from him today. Trump is meeting with President Zelensky today, talking about Tomahawk missiles and whatnot. And if you haven't watched it yet, watch the on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Watch the Trump sits down, takes questions with Zelensky meeting that took course today. Carol, is that not wild? Right at the end of the press conference, Trump drops another F-bomb, man. So he's handing out tomahawks and dropping F-bombs. That's what I voted for, you know. I can take it. I'm a grown-up. That was a good one, Party Bonzo, wasn't it? That's what we voted for. I'm glad he doesn't do it all the time, because, we're trying not to become wicked, you know, to defeat wicked. But it needs to be done once in a while. We're just showing some backbone, right? Hey, Priscilla. Wow, it's so good to see all you guys, man. And Vance, Vance's face when he said that. That was great. That was great, Sunkist. So tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and see what the day brings. My tolerance for these protests is very short, and to the point where I can't even watch it anymore. It is so dumb in Portland and the Chicago protests that are going on there. I just can't watch it. But I took 5 days off. I didn't watch any of it, you know, except for clips, just to make sure the same thing was just still happening. And it is. The same stupidity is still happening. Yeah, we try to be nice, Carol, right? We try. But every once in a while, it slips out, and I get angry sometimes, man. So tomorrow, I'm going to see what's going on, and potentially be live streaming the Retard Show here from Lancaster, Pennsylvania tomorrow. But I'm sure a lot of other people are going to be doing that also. And there was 50 skaters last night at the protest, Carrie Musings is saying. All right. So they're bringing in the dancers now, right? The other cool thing I saw there was some Patriots had a big Charlie Kirk banner, and they were shouting USA, USA, and standing against the protesters, which that's effective, I think. But I think what these protesters want is they want violence, man. And if you're not watching it, they're gonna do some violence. And if you're in a not friendly police area, they're gonna end up arresting you. The police have arrested some right-wing people after they complained about things that were going on at the protests. But yeah, just gonna play it by ear, and hopefully bring you a good live stream tomorrow. So, all right. Chief Son drops receipts about Nancy on the Gateway Pundit. Thank you, Jay, for that link. They are violent behind those little costumes. I never thought I would see the day where somebody would think it's an effective way of protesting to put on a Barney or a Pokemon inflatable costume and go protest the government. It's just crazy, man. All right, Barbara, that I know. Awful quiet lately, though, hasn't she? All of a sudden, Antifa ain't so funny anymore to those people, right? All of a sudden. That's because all the phone records are there, all the checks they cut, the money's getting hunted down in the Treasury Department. They're a terrorist organization. And I just thought of this. All right, so some people are going, well, Antifa doesn't really exist. And, you know, really, do they? They don't have a membership. They don't have a card that they carry. They don't, I don't think they take an oath or anything. But really, they are the polar opposite of MAGA. Because MAGA, I don't have a card that says I'm a MAGA guy. It's kind of a philosophy. It's how we perceive our world. And I think Antifa is just like MAGA, except the opposite. And they already came after MAGA at the January 6th court cases and stuff. And now it's their turn this time. Yeah, she should be in rehab. She's in something, man. I'm not sure what. I can't wait till I can talk about that, by the way. But by then, she's going to be irrelevant, so I probably won't ever talk about it. It is something. I got a story to tell. I do have a story to tell. So, Patriots, I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to play a little bit of, you know, just it might not be that something you want the kids to hear. And, yeah, it is going to play. So, till I see you guys again, I love you. Pray for the Patriots, man. Several of us have had deaths in the family. It's very hard to take that when everything's going down like this. Please, pray for us all. Pray for all the Patriots that are in the chat, out here standing up with the MAGA team. And give glory to God when you see those blessings bestowed on us. God bless you all, Patriots. This is Jericho. Over and out. All right, I'm having technical difficulty, but this is funny, man.
Congresswoman, how are your trades now that you can't get insider information? Is it true you've been drinking more vodka lately? Why do your boobs look like sandbags? Is your husband still having an affair with the hammer guy? And why are you dressed like a leprechaun? Have you found your pot of gold yet?
Shut up. I'm 200 fucking years old. You try walking around with a pair of sandbags, and yes, my husband is fucking the hammer guy. That's why I'm drunk.
American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
I love that smile at the end. God bless you, Patriots.